So since our patient is lacking that 15 degrees of extension, we want to make sure that before we progress to any other exercise, we regain that full range of motion. One way that we can do that is by doing some joint mobilizations. So in this case, it would be a posterior to anterior glide of the tibia against the femur. And since our patient is still in some slight pain, we would want to work our way up from grade 1, grade 2 mobilizations, which would be just small oscillations, and we can hopefully increase to grade 3. And with the use of cryotherapy, probably with like 5 minutes of an ice pack to the area to decrease their neurological sensation, we can hopefully increase to grade 3 mobilizations and have a decrease in muscle guarding or the patient being scared. So what that would look like would be grabbing as close to the joint line as possible, having the patient completely relaxed and comfortable, and just small oscillations back and forth. And like I said, if we work to grade 3, it would be a little bit closer to end range and working in that area. Good. So for our next exercise, our main focus is going to be we're going to be focusing on one of the dynamic stabilizers of the knee, which would be the gluteus medius. So the gluteus medius is going to aid in the prevention of medial collapse, so it's going to hold it in a neutral position. And so to activate this, we're going to have our patient stand single leg on this leg, have the opposite leg lifted, and we're going to have them abduct their hip to activate the glute med. So we're going to do this for 3 sets of 15. We really want to get that contraction of the glute med and almost get it to a point of fatigue. We wanted to build a neurological connection and then start gaining some hypertrophy with all that blood flow. So go ahead and be there. Exactly. So the main thing that we want to focus on is that there's no movement of back and forth of the trunk, and should be just all hips abducting. So to increase the activation of our quadriceps, we're going to do terminal knee extensions with a slight variation. They're going to be in a slightly staggered split squat. So this leg is going to be slightly forward, this leg slightly back. And the resistance here would be with a band. Either I can be holding the band to kind of gauge the resistance in the beginning, or this can be placed stationary, wrapped around a table or something heavy so that the band doesn't move. So for this, they're going to be in this split squat, a little bit more squatted. And what I want them to do is forcefully contract as fast as they can back, and then hold nice and slow coming back. So fast and nice and slow coming back, and explode nice and slow. So we're activating the quads and then getting a nice eccentric contraction on the way back. So for our next exercise, it's going to be a variation of a high knee. It's going to be super slow with a hold, but explosive when we go into flexion. So what I mean by that is our starting position is going to be this knee or this hip flexed up. There we go. And then we're going to quickly alternate and switch to the other leg. Ready, go. And so as you can see here for our patient, it's a little bit difficult to balance, so that's what it's also working. It's increasing their proprioception as well as their balance. Now, when this leg is straight, they're focusing on the glute med as well as the hamstrings, and then when they come up, it's an explosive contraction of their hip flexors. So this would be a very similar position to where some gymnasts might be when they come off their dismount. Sometimes they might end up in a single leg position, not by choice, but by accident. And this is helping, again, decrease that likelihood of that medial collapse.